Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World of Marketing, where I talk with industry leaders about marketing mindset and business growth. This episode is brought to you by my own company, Foster Web Marketing. Foster Web Marketing is dedicated to providing cutting-edge, highly customizable websites, marketing, video, and strategic solutions specifically designed for law firms, medical practices, and other professional service businesses. DSS, our award-winning web technology and marketing system, sets us apart from everyone else. Please visit our website at fosterwebmarketing.com if you want to know more. But today is about Dave Valentine. What a great name. Dave is a visionary entrepreneur who owns 7 businesses that have collectively generated over $1 billion for over 1,000 clients, including major brands like Target, Time Magazine, and American Express. Motivated by a health scare, he shifted his approach to scaling his businesses and now runs them from a serene mountain house by a river with 3 waterfalls. With a focus on conscious capitalism and investing in people, Dave aims to employ over 200,000 individuals and reclaim freedom from the influence of greedy individuals and corporations. I love it. Very good. Well, it's very nice to meet you, Dave, and welcome to the World of Marketing podcast.
Likewise, Tom. Super excited to be here, man.
So, tell me a little bit. You've got quite a background. So, how long you've been doing this?
Yeah. So, I started my first company, my first agency, a little over 10 years ago, and I've always been an entrepreneur in my spirit. I at the age of 3, I drew a picture and went to my grandparents and said, "I'm going to sell this picture for $100," and they laughed at me. But luckily, their very affluent friends came over that evening for dinner, and I did sell it for $40. So that was pretty good, especially for the late 80s.
That's great.
And yeah, I mean, I've just always been that guy that had I sold candy bars out of my backpack when I was in elementary school, and then it became candy bars and pens and pencils and erasers because you had to have it, right? Teachers would get upset. So I always just kind of had these things going, and yeah, but my first business gig was 10 years ago, and built that up, sold it in 2019, started a new agency a couple months after we sold the first one. That was in a totally different space. Built that up, actually just sold that one recently. So we own right now 6 different businesses at this point. Just because
what businesses? What do they have to do with?
Yeah, so own 2 agencies. I own a branding firm and a PR firm. Own 2 SaaS products. One is a video review platform, so they help you collect video reviews. The other one's an SEO tool, so it's actually older than like SEMrush, which is a really large, they're doing $50 million a month in revenue. And then I own a flight school with my brother, and then I run a mastermind for agency owners, actually. And so those are the 6 that I own right now.
Wow. And, where do you get the time to do all that?
It's funny, man. Like I don't, if you set up systems to work for you and then you hire great people and train them, they will do a really great job. Like they will be excellent at what they're doing. And so I typically will only spend a couple hours on each business outside of the mastermind, because that is just my passion project. I spend a lot more time there, but I only spend a couple hours a week at most on some of these businesses. Some of them I don't spend any time on because they're kind of running themselves. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. You said it, you get good people, delegate it out. Much better than getting in the weeds yourself.
That's right. That's right.
So what you said, you enjoy the mastermind the most. Is that correct? Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah, because there's something about people that own marketing, advertising, design agencies like yourself, Tom. Like everyone that I've talked to in that space, highly creative people that went how do I take creative and make it into a sustaining life cycle? And what does that look like? How do I get there? And because I've spent so much time in that space and I've scaled up agencies 7 figures plus and sold them for 7 figures plus, and like, there's just a way that you can do it that makes your life better. My first agency nearly killed me. I mean, I was 29, went to the doc because my wife was like, hey, you haven't had a physical since you were in college. Maybe, since we have our second kid on the way, you should go get a physical done. So I dutifully went, and, you know, they did all the tests, came back a week later, and the doc's like, hey, Dave, I got a question for you. Cool, doc, shoot. How do you know when you're going to have a heart attack? I'm like, I don't understand. He goes, how do you know when you're going to have a heart attack? I was like, doc, I really don't understand that question. He goes, you don't know. It just happens. He said, you're the most stressed out person we've ever tested. We've tested 4,500 people, and you take the cake. You win.
Wow.
Had a bad game. And he said, so if you don't change what you're doing, you're going to be dead before you hit 40. Now listen, here's what's crazy. I had a 7-figure agency at the time. Only 3% of agencies do 7 figures in a year ever in the US. So like ever. So by numeric revenue numbers, I was massively successful. Top 3% of the industry. But by the measurements that count, I was in bad shape, right? And so I had to go about asking myself some questions of like, hey, what do I need to do differently, right? How can I make this a sustainable practice? I've got this $1 million agency. What can I do differently? That led me to EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System.
Yeah, we do EOS.
There you go.
Yeah.
Huge.
Changed my life, changed the business.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing, Tom? Like,
it's incredible.
It's so simple too. It's not even like a complex system. It's very easy to implement.
It simplifies everything. That's exactly what it does.
And so we implemented that. We started productizing our service. So instead of saying, Dave's the guru, he's the guy, we were doing Facebook and Instagram ads before it was cool, or maybe when it was cool, it's not cool anymore. We
right.
And we were really crushing it in that space, but it was all on my shoulders to make sure that the campaigns really got results. So I started to create things that other people could pick up and run with. So I created a playbook. So it wasn't like a standard SOP. It was like, hey, if this, then do this. If that doesn't work, then try this. If you see this scenario happen, try play C. If this scenario happens, try play E. And so it gave people a templatized version. My ad buyers are the ones that were struggling. Creative was crushing it. So when I created that, all of a sudden, everything just started working at really big scale. And I was able to get out. We also hired really, really talented people. I went and paid people more than I'd ever paid them.
Right.
And brought them in.
Right. That's what you have to do.
And I took a pay cut for myself, you know, and I was like, I'm going to bring in some people believing that they're going to get me to the next phase, and I'm going to pay them X, which is exactly what I'm making, so that in the future I can make more. And that's what we ended up doing. Sold it. But yeah, the mastermind, the reason
how long did that take from that, the doctor telling you better calm down, and you kind of like internalizing that and saying, and coming up with that plan, like realizing, shit, I do have to calm down, accepting, like your ego accepting that, right? Because it's your ego accepting that. And how long did it take you to build up that playbook and that team from that time that you were told, you know, you better get your act together?
It took about a year and a half.
Yeah.
It takes, you know, and I did simple things too, Tom. Like, I realized that I had a bad habit at the time of drinking coffee and then immediately switching to alcohol, because I would drink coffee like until like 3-4 in the afternoon.
I can relate.
Like,
I'm 2 years sober now, but I can relate to that. Yes.
Congrats, brother. That's
amazing.
Thank
you.
That's huge. That's huge, man. And so I had to look myself in the face and be like, you don't drink a glass of water some days. That's horrifying. So I made really like this is 3 days after that conversation with the doc. I made 2 rules for myself. Got to drink 20 ounces of water, just 1 glass every day, and you got to go for at least a 5-minute walk. I made very small, attainable steps at first. And of course, most days I started just being mindful about drinking water, and I'd drink 3, 4, 5 glasses. Most days I'd go for a 30, 40-minute walk. And there would be days that, like, my day was just stacked early on. And it was 10 o'clock, and I was like, oh my gosh, you haven't had water, and you haven't gone for a walk. I'm exhausted. I'm going to take my glass of water, and I'm going to go walk around the block once, you know? And that was what I did. But it gave me an attainable goal as well. The other thing that I really started to hone in on in that time and space was like, where do I have the most leverage? If I take this action, where does it give me the highest outcome, right? Because I've only got so much time in a day. I've only got so much brain fuel. I've only got so much attention. So I really started to get tight on that and asking that question about my day every day. Like, hey, what is the thing that if I did it today, it's going to yield the best results from my action? And so asking that question really changed the dynamic for me also. But yeah, it took time. It takes time to make some of these shifts. It's not something that happens overnight. I think at the time our team was like 9 or 10 people. And so it was helpful to have a team that size do some of these shifts with me. But, you know, it's also a lot easier. I've scaled agencies way bigger than that. It's way easier to do those kinds of big shifts when you're at 35, 40 as well, because you just have more manpower, you have more brain power, there are more people, so you can make some pretty dynamic changes at scale a lot easier.
So you've got that, and you sold that business. How long was it after you made those adjustments that you sold it?
So once we finally got it to a good spot, I started working on selling it. So literally a year after I had that conversation with the doc, I was like, all right, we're gonna sell this thing.
And you
we had big
actively
name
went
clients.
out there.
Yeah, we had big name clients. You know, we were working with the ones that I can talk about. We were working with Time. We were working with Target. We did some work with Bell Helicopter. You know, like we did some cool stuff with some bigger people, and then we did a lot of work with companies you've never heard of. You know,
how did you get those clients? How did you get them?
A couple ways. One, we kind of had 2 main client acquisition channels outside of referrals, because referrals, if you've got a good shop, they should just be happening, right? You can always supercharge those more. There are things that people can do to make that happen more. But the 2 main channels we had was, we had a podcast. We would bring people onto the podcast that we wanted to work with. So we're creating content and we're creating a connection. So now I'm talking with somebody that, hey man, I want to work with you. We had an example. We had one of the guy from Mrs. Renfro's Salsa. And he was always courted by every agency in town, but we had a good relationship with him. He was always someone that if he needed something... It's
always about the relationships, yeah.
Absolutely. So that was kind of like our slow play, that we knew like, hey, these are big opportunities, big fish. We're going to get those people on the podcast. And then the other people, we would use cold email outreach. I'd use direct mail follow-up. We'd do SDR. So that's what I did when I sold that first agency, is I started an SDR agency. And so that's kind of the trajectory there. But that's how we were getting a lot of clients to come in and pay us $3,500 a month to run their Facebook and Instagram ads, plus some ancillary costs if they had them, if they wanted creative or whatever. And so it was just a way for us to really get a lot of those, what I call mid-tier clients, right? They're not going to pay you $1,000 or less a month. They're not paying you $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month, but they're somewhere in the middle. And, you know, we did some crazy things. We had some clients that were on $1 million retainer every year. There was just cool stuff that was going on. And so it just made sense to really go, you know, I got to quit doing this.
Well, that's very impressive work. Congratulations to you.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
From one agency guy to another. I mean, that's very impressive. I've been doing this for 26 years now.
Hey, well done.
What's that?
I said, well done.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, but I'm a development house and a agency, so I do both sides. We develop our own proprietary websites. We don't do WordPress. We develop everything in Cold
Wow.
Fusion, and we have DSS as our proprietary CMS and CRM. And
Wow.
so we develop everything in-house.
Well
And
then.
that has its pros and cons, right? That has its pros and
Yeah.
cons.
That's right. That's right.
But it makes the websites run smooth. And better for the clients than
Yeah.
WordPress with the plugins and all that nonsense. But anyway, all right. So that you sold your first company. Tell me a little bit about the other companies again. You got besides the mastermind. So that leaves what, 4 other companies that you got?
5. Yeah,
Okay,
5. So we
5.
have a yeah.
You
So
got the
I own
flight
flight
school.
school with
That's
my
pretty
brother.
cool. Flight school with your brother. That's neat.
Yep.
Now, did you start that with him, or did he already have that going on? Or
I did start that with him. So my brother and I had worked together. He'd actually worked for the first agency years prior, and he and I had always talked about going into business together. And so we purchased some planes.
wow,
Found a yeah. I mean that's a weird thing to say. Yeah, I own a couple planes.
bought a couple of planes. Yeah.
Yeah, like you do. And it's my brother's a pilot. My brother's a pilot for American Airlines. My dad's a pilot for American Airlines. My grandfather was a pilot for Delta. My father-in-law was a naval aviator. Like, flying is just a part of my family's
part of the
history.
DNA. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I am not a pilot, but I know how to market things, right? So
Yep.
we had our branding agency do all the branding work, build out a website. I kind of helped them go through like, hey, this is what we would need to do to make this really successful. We use my outrageous offer creation to kind of figure out what would be unique in the marketplace that would get us lots of lead flow. And so we have this little flight school outside of Fort Worth, Texas. It's actually for sale right now. If anybody wants to buy a flight school. And we were able to get financing for it, which is like a huge thing. Basically, people can go through the flight school now, have it paid for like it's a student loan. So
that's great.
they can have a 20-year note on this, and it's fantastic because once you go through flight school and then you have to get your hours, once you get your hours though, regional airlines now, year 1 are paying 6 figures. So the day that you walk out and you have all your hours in, they're going to pay you at least $100,000 that first year. Year 2, they increase the pay to $150,000, and then year 3, it's over $200,000. That's a regional airline. I'm not talking about big, American Delta, United. So these smaller regional firms are paying out a lot. So what we have a lot right now, Tom, are these young 18 to 24-year-olds that are going, I don't want to do college. They don't have to. And I want to have a job.
And we're in need of pilots, man. We're in great need of pilots.
There's a 15,000 person pilot shortage that we're currently under. And so we just can't produce enough, right?
Right.
So it's a pretty sweet gig, right? Like it's pretty awesome. Our margin on the business is great. And it's fun. It's fun to help people go achieve their dreams and really get to where they want to be. So anyways, that's kind of what we're
very cool.
doing with that one. Yeah.
So what are the other ones?
The other ones, yeah. So we own there's a video review platform called TrustScout.io. So we primarily work with agencies, right? They come to us and they're like, hey, we want to get more video reviews for our clients. Can you help us? Well, the great thing about TrustScout is you kind of set it up for your client and then you forget it. So literally you can go in, set it up, you get charged a monthly fee or a yearly fee to have unlimited videos. And the cool part is it's white labeled if you pay the yearly fee up front. So then you can have it look like it's your platform. And then what's brilliant, Tom, is we coach our agencies in particular about like, hey, just sell your clients on if you get a video review and you like it, we're going to charge you $100, $150 per video review. So what it becomes for the agencies is this, once you set it up, it kind of just becomes this profit center because you're not sending out emails. It's sending out emails with connections to MailChimp and different stuff. And it looks like it's coming from your client. It looks like it's coming from you. And you're getting video reviews all the time. And then you're just charging your client for it every month. And so we have some agencies on the platform now. They're making $5, $6K a month, and they're not doing anything for it.
Wow, that's very cool. I'm
Right?
interested.
Cool, man. We'll get you hooked up on that one.
Who's doing the reviews?
So it's their customers and or clients, right? So like
so you're actually reaching out to the customers and clients of the because that and you're getting reviews on videos.
Yep, it sends them a link directly through the email, and they can open up either on their phone or on their desktop and record a video review right there. And you can add some prompts like, hey, talk about what your experience was like prior to working with us.
This is a video review.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were saying you get reviews on videos, but you're saying this is a video review.
It's a video review, right? And so it's like they're leaving a review, because one of the things that we started to notice, Tom, was that on Amazon in particular, and for high ticket services, lawyers, accountants, things like that, people were saying, consumers were giving feedback that video was aiding their purchasing decision 96+% of the time. So it's like, man, if people want video, but we're not giving it to them, that's a problem. That's hindering us. And one of the things that we also found was, and this is just part of the ebbs and flows of society, right, is that they want something that's more informal. They're not looking for polished, let me sit down in front of the camera and have, the sliding camera. They just want, hey, this is my experience.
They just want the iPhone, right? They just want the quick and easy. Yeah, you're right. They want it to look real.
They want it to look real. And so
they want it to be real, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And so that's kind of where we went with that. And then I own Longtail Pro is the SEMrush competitor. And it's been around for 11 years. I own it with some partners over on that one, and it's pretty remarkable what we're able to do. We're going to so we're recording this in July. By the end of August, we're going to have 2 things that are going to be absolutely unreal that are going to be released for that platform around AI. Essentially, what we're going to be able to do is not only give you content suggestions, which is what all of the platforms do. They aggregate data. They tell you, hey, based off everybody in your competitive space, here's the keywords that are going to be helpful to you. Here's some of the ideas that we have around pieces of content you can write or produce. At this point, we're going to be able to give you the ability via AI. It's not ChatGPT. It's something completely different that we've been baking ourselves. We're going to be able to give people the ability to say, do you want to write content for lead generation on your site, or do you want to write it for SEO? And based off what you select, AI will then kick out a article, blog post automatically for that purpose, and you can go put it up. And so it's a pretty sweet service, and it's cheaper than any of our competitors, which is great.
Wow, that's interesting to me too.
So that's that one. And then, I own a branding agency called VHS Design. We specialize in really taking people through not just, hey, here's a website. That's not what brand is, right? Like, and this is, I'm actually writing a book, finishing a book right now, Tom. And one of the chapters I talk about, what is brand? Because people throw it around and it's become a non-word. So we've had to redefine it. So our definition of brand is a desired perception, right? So what is the desired perception? Which means at every moment, you're always creating your brand. You're never done. It's never finished. Yeah, and marketing professionals like you totally instinctively get that. Most entrepreneurs and most business owners don't understand that. They view it as, well, my brand is my business card, my website,
My
the flag, the
logo.
banner. Yeah, and
Yep.
it's like those all are a piece, and it's an important piece. Even I'll give you that. And there's more to it. So we take people through not just like, hey, let's build you a website, let's build you a logo. It's like, hey, what's the desired perception you want to have? Let's position you well, and then get you where you need to go with that. So that's kind of what we're
The
doing.
ongoing, right? The ongoing perception that you want to have, that you need to grow with your clients and change with your clients, and you know, a lot of it has to do with who's your avatar client. Your
Yep.
brand needs to match that. Yeah.
100%. And so we end up running a lot of organic social media for those clients and doing some work there. So that's the branding agency. The PR firm, we book people on podcasts. We help people get traditional and non-traditional PR placements. And one of the things we've started to do is we started to derivatize the content as well. So like literally, what's everybody want? Short form video content. Great. Well, we started to take clips from podcast episodes and then put them out there, right? And producing a lot of content in volume that's really good. And then people are basically being able to replace or really increase their social media output because of the things that we're doing. So that's been super
It's
helpful,
interesting, the
tremendous.
switch, isn't it? The switch.
Yeah.
Because used to be long videos and short
Yep.
content. Now
Yep.
it's long content and short videos.
Yep.
You always got to be changing. Like guys like us, we always have to change with the times.
Yep. Absolutely. So anyways, those are the 6 companies that I have right now.
Very
and
cool. Well,
they're fun, man.
congratulations to you. I am from one entrepreneur to another. That's very impressive. And
Oh, thanks, man.
and yeah, I'm truly impressed, and it's an honor to have you on the podcast. What is the name of the book that's coming out? Do you have a name for it yet?
Yeah, we do. It's called The Marketer's Mind.
Okay.
And so it's interesting. I've talked with Fortune 50 CMOs, VPs of marketing. I've been in big spaces. I've also worked with friends that own a singular coffee shop. I've worked with hundreds of agency owners at this point. And one of the things that always comes up, Tom, is whether they've been in the industry for 40 years or they've been in it for 2 or 3. The conversation always ends up being the same. Dave, you think so differently. How did you get there? And so I've had these conversations with staff as well, where they're just like, I wish that I could download your brain and really understand how you think. So I set myself to the task of going, how do I download my brain and teach people to think the way that I do? And
Well,
so
like you did with the first company,
right?
When you gave them the playbook. I can see that. I can see why people would want that after working with you.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we're releasing. It's coming out in August, and we're super excited to push it out and to get it into people's hands so that they can grow and scale their business. Because I am one of those people that really firmly believes in small business, and I want small businesses to succeed. I want agencies to grow. I want accounting firms to expand, and we need more small businesses to be really successful, especially people like yourself that are thinking about improving the lives of their staff members and not simply getting rich for themselves, but also increasing the value and net worth of the people that work for you. So it's really an ode to those people and helping them grow their business.
Very good. And how does somebody get a hold of you? Is there a website that you want them to go to?
Yeah, if you want to check me out, you can go to davevalentine.co. That is my website. You can also find me on social media. I'm on all the platforms at RealDVal, RealDVAL. And I'm pretty active. So go find me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, wherever.
Very good. Well, I'll connect with you out there. Oh, man.
Awesome. Sweet.
Well, Dave, it's been fantastic having you on the world of marketing and getting to know you better. Like I said, I'm very impressed, and I know the listeners are going to be impressed as well. Great to know you.
Yeah, likewise, Tom. Thanks for chatting.
Okay, buddy. Take care now. All right, everybody. It's been Tom and Dave on the World of Marketing. You all take care and have a great day.